Hi, and welcome to my little craft corner. I am Tabby, and today we will create a folio, or I will create a folio and guide you through so you can create your own. The idea was one of my subscribers' ideas, and yeah, she asked me if I could show you how to create a folio or how I would do it. And yeah, here we are. This is my prototype that I showed you quickly in the intro, and I just want to give you a quick overview. This one is the closure, as you can see. I used these bulldog clips, I think they're called, and I cut these papers like a file folder. I attached these file folders with a piece of book page, like a Hinge. And on the first page we have 2 pockets and 1 tuck spot where you can tuck in things from below. On the second page we have a flip out tuck spot and a flip out pocket, a top loading pocket, and a huge tuck spot over here. And here I use different techniques. I tried to use washi tape. I created the hinge from the scrapbooking paper itself, and I used the book page again as the hinge, and this is the method I will use today. Here we have a belly band, or better to say a double belly band. On page number 4 we have a tall pocket and 2 triangle tuck spots. And on page number 5 we have a window pocket, a flip out thingy with a pocket or tuck spot, depends on what you prefer, and an envelope made out of book pages. And on page number 6, let me turn everything real quick, we have kind of a flip out or door element with a small belly band, and this belly band I imagined for a notebook that I will create for this folio. So yeah, these are my ideas, so let's jump right in. So the first thing you will need is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I use some scrapbooking paper by Stamperia, and you have to cut it to size 8.5 inches high, and you can take the full width of the scrapbooking paper, like 12 inches. So that's the first thing that you have to cut down. I already cut down all my papers because I think it will take really long if I do it in this video, because I already did the German version and that took a while, let's say it like that. I think it's more than 2 hours, but if you're interested in a super long video that guides you slowly, step by step, you can also watch this version if you're able to speak German or just use the subtitles. Okay, what we're doing after you cut it to size, we take a scoreboard and we want to fold this folio in a third. So with 12 inches, you score like 4 and 8 inches. As I said, 4 and 8 inches. So you get 3 equal sized parts. Next step is to fold your folio. So I just marked the pages for you. The top is number 1. If you fold it open, number 2, number 3, and number 4. If you close it once, you will have page number 5, and if you close it twice, so you're basically at the back of your folio, it's page number 6. And that's the way I will guide you through this tutorial to create your folio. The first thing we're doing after we cut our paper to size and folded it, the base of the folio basically, we will create the closure. And for this closure you will need 2 times a sheet of paper the same size, that is like 3 inches high and 4 inches wide. And out of these pieces you cut these tabs so it looks like a file folder or has this typical file folder shape. And I will show you quickly how to do that. To create this file folder shape or this tab, you take your 2 pieces of paper that will be the closure and take your envelope punch, and it doesn't really matter how long your tab will be. It is just important that both are the same size, so that's why I put them together. I think I will choose it like that. Now you punched your hole. Now we need a ruler and a knife. You can cut it with your scissors, of course, but I prefer to do it with ruler and knife. I think that is a little bit more precise. So you take your ruler down here at this valley of this notch, and then you cut this strip off. So number 1 and number 2. So that's the way you get your tag shapes. And now it depends on you. I love to round my corners, and I will use this punch for it, and I will use size S to round all my corners. We'll do it on both of these papers, and then I will show you how you could do it if you might not own this envelope punch. So let's pretend this is my piece of paper I want to use as a file folder. In this case I just took a scrap. What you might do is you take your pencil, mark yourself where your tab should be. I marked it over here, and what I prefer to do first is to cut the length, and you have to cut a little bit left from your marking. So this strip is loose now, and now I take my ruler and put it at an angle. It doesn't matter so much, it just depends what you like to have or what kind of an angle you prefer to have. And see, okay, it's not rounded, but you can have your tab like this too. And I think it's not a lot more difficult than to create it with this envelope punch. So this punch is not needed, you can do it like that, and maybe you like more the look of these straight corners and not rounded look like I do. So that's an option too. Now that we created our closure parts, we will create these pockets. Let me show you real quick. We are at page number 1 and we'll create these 2 pockets and this tuck spot. And for the pockets you cut 2 pieces, 2.5 inches high or tall and 3.5 inches wide. So I cut these pockets to size, or maybe I flip it around so you can see it a little bit better on this board here. And you cut a tuck spot with 1 inch high and 3.5 inches wide. So these are the 3 pieces you cut to size. If you like to ink, like I will do, this might be the option to do it now. And I will round the corners and use my envelope punch to punch some notches. And I will be right back. Okay, I got interrupted by the postman, but I think I wanted to tell you that I used this punch to round my corners with a size M, and then I used walnut stain to ink all around, and I used my envelope punch for these. So all of these things, like these pockets and this tuck spot, we will keep for later. Oh yeah, one tip might be to take these 2 pieces of pockets together and then punch your notch, because as you can see, this one is slightly off because I did it separately. So yeah, it might be a good idea to have it both at the same time. But in my case, and I will just flip one pocket and everything will be fine. Because if you glue it down over here, it's nicer if this is in one line and these notches are not like slightly off to left or right. Before you glue all of this stuff down, we will go to page number 2. So you flip your folio open. Depends on you if you want to flip it to the left or the right. So you flip it open. We are on page number 2. Put this aside real quick. And now we will put down a few things. Let me show you my prototype real quick. It is upside down. I'm sorry. So we will create this tuck spot. So this large tuck spot, this top loading pocket, and this flap tuck spot. And as you can see, these flip out elements are hinged on page number 1, and I prefer to have the hinges underneath the pockets. First we will glue down our tuck spot. This will be our large tuck spot that is 8.5 inches tall. Inches, not hinges. So basically as tall as your folio itself. Doesn't matter if it is slightly smaller. And 3.25 inch wide. And what we will do now is basically glue this spot down. I will take my notch. Yeah, want to be in the center if possible. Yeah. Oh no, I have to do it on the other side because I can see the text would be upside down if I do it like that. Oh my gosh. I don't know why, but this punch is really hard to press down. Or I'm too weak. I don't know. I will round my corners, I wanted to say. I used size number M on this punch again, and then I will ink it real quick, and then I glue it down on these 3 sides. So this side will be open. We'll be back in a minute. So I glued down my tuck spot as I told you. So it is open to this side. And for gluing these things down, I use my art glitter glue because I want to have just a thinner strip of glue and something that glues strong and fast. What I will do next is this top loading pocket. So this is our pocket we want to create. It is 3.5 inches high and 6 inches wide. And what we need to do is have this open, lay it down, and then we want to score it at 3 inches. So yeah, I will score it first and then explain why. Or I think it will explain for itself. After we scored it, we will fold it in half. And now we will have our pocket. And because it's a flip pocket, of course you want to have your beautiful scrapbooking paper on both sides. What I want to do is have a notch. Let's see what will be my front and my back. So this will be my front. I will flip it open like that. So this will be my front. So I will create a notch over here. And I will again ink around here. Will round these corners. And then we need to glue this pocket shut. But yeah, I will show you in a second. Okay, now we need to glue the pocket shut. So we will glue at the bottom and at the left of this pocket. So as I said, I just want to keep this tutorial shorter than the German one, because I think you can still follow my steps. So I won't show you a lot of inking or gluing and more explain what I will do, but I think you can still follow. Next step, what we will do is to create this hinge, so to hinge this pocket to page number 1 so we can flip it out. And for this we will need a book page. So my hinge will be the book page, first of all, because I like the look and I like that this book page is a little bit more flexible than a scrapbooking paper. Yeah, so these are the 2 reasons. But you shouldn't take something too flimsy or fragile, or like these book pages that might be a little bit brittle. So take something more sturdy. So what you need to do now is to think how wide your hinge should be. Mine will be, I think, around 3/4 of an inch. It doesn't really matter. It depends. First of all, it shouldn't be too short, otherwise it's not easy to flip the pocket, or the hinge might got loose on one side. And besides that, it is just personal preference, I think. And I just scored it that it might be a little bit easier for me to rip it down. And I like to have this more torn look, but first I have to get rid of this board. Okay, way easier to handle all of this. I will go a little bit wider than I scored before, because I will rip down this edge too, so I have this torn look on both sides. Of course, you can always rip your paper down just with your fingernails. Just go close to the edge and then rip it down. But it just goes a little bit faster with this ruler. Then we take our pocket. Here's my pencil. Okay, just mark approximately the height. I will rip it down real quick. And then we need to glue this hinge on this side. Flip it over and glue it down on page number 1. But I will show you real quick after I inked this piece of paper, of course. Okay, and I needed a piece of paper where I can glue on. Okay, what you do first, I will take some glue stick, because for these hinges I need a little bit of a wriggle room, and yeah, article glue won't give me that time, so I glue half of glue on my fingers. Yeah, round about half of it on the pocket itself. Then I lay it down over here, flip it over to page number 1, just adjust it that the edges of my pocket and the edge of my folio itself or my base is aligned, and then I will fold my hinge over. You should be a little bit gentle, so don't push it too far over here, because otherwise your pocket won't lay flat. So if you put a lot of tension on this hinge, it might be the case that it doesn't really close completely, and your pocket will always, yeah, be like this. Yeah, but this looks great. And yeah, this will be the part where we will have our pockets later on. Let's move on to our tuck spot, which will be this one. So our flip out tuck spot. So let me give you the measurements real quick. We will have 3.5 inches tall and 5 inches wide. And I did it 5 inches wide because I like to have this space over here. So what we will need next is again our scoring board. So yeah, I would say that a scoreboard is kind of necessary for this project, otherwise it could be a little bit harder. Okay, I want to have like 1/2 inch, so this will be 1/2 inch for my project over here, and the whole width is 5 minus 1/2 inch. So we have to score for the tuck spot itself at 2.25, because 2.25 plus 2.25 is 4.5 inches. And after we scored that, we will just fold it in. Oh my gosh, I scored it a little bit crooked. So yeah, then you will fold it in. I want to have it this way around. This will be the main thing, and this will be just for the decoration, so to say. I will put a notch over here, will round the corners and ink all around, and then I will just put glue on the bottom and on the top, so we will have our sideways tuck spot. So just a quick note, remember for these flip out elements, if you love to ink like I do, of course you have to ink on both sides, because if you will flip it out, you will see the back side as well. And now we will create the same hinge as we created for our pocket. And I will do basically the same. I will cut my strip of paper from this book page, will ink all around it, and then will hinge it to page number 1 like this. To page number 1 like this. I think you couldn't see it a second before. Okay, this will be the next step, and then I will be back. I just decided I want to show you again how I hinge it, because that might be an important step. It's just great to see it twice maybe. So again, put half of this strip on your tuck spot, and then you are completely free for the height where you want to attach your tuck spot, but just remember you want to get in and out things in this pocket, so you need a little bit of room to the top for that. So I just align it with the top of my larger tuck spot. Then I will flip it around That's not so. Okay. And now I will fold over my hinge. And that's the reason why it is great to have some glue stick, because it needs more time to dry, so you have this extra time to wiggle around. Now we have our 2 hinges on page number 1 and have our 3 elements on page number 2. So a lot of space for tuck in things and get things into the pocket. Back to page number 1. I just leave these marks in here so you always know exactly where we are. So back on page number 1, all we do now is to take our 2 pockets and our tuck spot and glue them down. But as you can see, I have this fish over here. Have to think for a moment. Okay, I made my decision. I like this fish over here, so I won't take my second pocket like I did in the prototype. My gosh. So if you won't have this issue that you won't cover anything on your page, you can of course glue down both pockets, but I will only glue down this pocket and this tuck spot. Of course we will glue the pocket down on the 2 sides and the bottom, and the tuck spot, remember this will be a tuck spot where you tuck down things from below, so you will glue the 2 sides and the top shut, so just remember that. We have now pocket page number 1 done, page number 2 done, and now we're moving on to page number 3 by folding our folio completely open, and that's where we put our double belly band. But first I have to organize this growing chaos around me. For this belly band, let's move this one a little bit down. You will need a strip of paper that is 8.5 inches tall and 1 inch wide. And I used again some book pages or a book page to create this double belly band. So you have one belly band and another belly band. And I just sticked to the book pages because I wanted to have a cohesive look with my book page hinges, and I took again a more like a sturdy book page. So this one I can see is a little bit too short, so I have to change it. Oh no, this is the same size, so I will take this book page. This is just a book page that so first of all it was a misprint. I kind of run out of the yellow ink in my printer, and so everything turned out really reddish bluish. But I just didn't want to throw it away, so that's why I just took some color and dyed this page a little bit. And let me think. I like to have these edges stick out round about 1/2 inch, but it doesn't really matter so much, so I will have it like this. Just mark it really quickly where my belly band will be, and then this will stick out like that, and this will stick out like that, and we are done. This is again, oh my gosh, accidentally ripped it too short. So it's just personal preference how wide you like your double belly band to be. So basically your book page strip, I just give you the measurement that I used. Of course, the only thing that determines you is the height of your folio itself, and I wouldn't make it too wide, otherwise it might be a little bit harder to slide things in and out. So again, I will ink these things like the book page and the belly band itself, so the book page belly band and the scrapbooking belly band, and then I will be back. Okay, back from inking. So we are at page number 3, and I will glue down my book page. I can see that the book page is still a tiniest bit smaller than my scrapbooking paper, and so I think I will just cut it down a little bit, because I prefer to have it at the same height. Yeah, perfect. So as you can see, I told you 8.5 inches tall, but of course you can always have it smaller. Now I have to ink this top over here, and all we do now is gluing down this belly band if my glue wants to work. One time I want to show you how to glue it down, and then he doesn't want to work with me, of course. Oops. Yeah, so you just want to have it in the middle of your book page, and then you glue down your book page itself. And there you have your, and then you have your belly band. And just make sure that you take a little bit of glue, yeah, because there's a lot of tension on your belly band, and you only have these 3 narrow strips to hold it down. And for the book page, I always take a little bit more, since it is not as sturdy as the scrapbooking paper itself. Just to show you again, here we have our double belly band. So page number 3 is also done. We're moving on to page number 4, and again, removing the chaos. So we're moving on to page number 4, and to be honest, when I tell you I remove the chaos, it is more like I shuffle it around, that you won't see it on the screen, and I have a little bit more space to work on there. Let's get back to our prototype real quick. What we'll do now is this tall pocket and this triangle, or these 2 triangle tuck spots. First, of course, we will glue down our pocket, and this one is, let's get rid of that and put this to the side a little bit. So what we need is, ignore the number over here, I just did it in the wrong order. So for pocket, I didn't want to have it, first of all, I don't want to have it upside down. No, that's perfect. I wanted to have it a little bit shorter, so you have a little bit more room to tuck in things, or get things in and out of this top loading pocket. So it is 7.5 inches tall and 3.5 inches wide. So I think that's pretty easy, right? You glue it down on 3 sides. I will ink all around and have a notch at the top. So that's not rocket science, I think. So as you can see, I lined up the bottom of the pocket completely with the bottom of the folio. So I will have about an inch here for my, getting things in and out. And what we will do next is our double triangle that I showed you before. And for that, you might need let's glue it over here. I did with the other ones. a piece of paper that is 2.5 inches high and 3.5 inches wide. So basically a little bit like the pockets that we did at page number 1. But what we will do now is just cut this rectangle in a diagonal, so you will get a triangle. And I think this is kind of easier to do than to explain. I think I might use this. You just line up your ruler at the corners and take your cutter. Yeah, you just line up. Okay, then you take your cutter and just cut it basically in half. So now you have your 2 triangles, and you just flip over one of them, and there you have your double tuck spot. Then you close your cutter, and this double tuck spot I will glue down like this. So line up with the edges of your folio of page number 4 and line it up with the bottom of the folio. If it sticks out a little bit, of course, you can always trim it a little bit and take the tiniest sliver off. Perfect, so you can always trim it later. But yeah, that's what I want to do now. I will ink the edges, of course, and then glue this triangle down. And I think when I ink the edges, you will see it a little bit better. So page number 4 is also done. As you may have noticed, I didn't glue my pocket in the center width-wise. So yeah, that's a little bit nicer, or it looks a little bit nicer if you have it in the center, but it doesn't matter. So it will function the same way. So it bothers me a tiniest bit. Okay, now we move to page number 5. And over here we have this window pocket and this flip out or flip down element with this tiny envelope and this pocket. So we will create this envelope together, and yeah, I think the rest is easy to follow. So first we will take this pocket with a window. For that, you will need a piece of paper that is 3.5 inches tall and 3 3/4 inches wide. And now you can decide how wide your frame should be. I think I will have it a little bit wider now than I did it before. And yeah, so I will do it like 1/2 inch wide. So to get my marks there on the paper where I have to cut out the frame, I will take my scoreboard, but I decided I will do it at 1/4 inch and not 1/2 inch. I tried that and it was, yeah, just too wide for me. So I will show you one more time. So you go all around on all 4 sides. No. And we'll just mark 1/4 inch from the edges. So now that I marked everything, yeah, I think you can see that in the video too. I always mark the corners a bit more. I think I want to do it like that. And what we basically do, we just cut at the inside of our markings. So cut the inside out, and then we take, and then we will be left with our frame. I will show you again for 2 sides how to do it. You take your ruler, lay it down, and then cut from one point to the other. Well, let me quickly show you for all 4 sides. I think that's a good idea. Okay, and now we are left with our frame and a little scrap that we can use later on. I think, yeah, this side would blend in too much, so I will have it like this. So I will just remove my markings. And I think I forgot to mention it in the materials, or to show it in the materials, but yeah, of course you will need a piece of acetate. Okay guys, I told you a lot of things and then I saw that I wasn't recording. Great. Let's say it again. I cut my piece of paper to size and I removed my pencil markings and inked all around my frame. Again, up to you if you want to ink or not. And your piece of acetate has to be smaller than the edges of the frame, so it has to stay within the edge of the frame, basically. It can be a little bit crooked, doesn't matter, as long as, yeah, you won't see the acetate stick out or it is not too short. What I will do now is glue down the acetate, what will be basically our window. And all you have to keep in mind then is that you won't glue it, so you don't take a lot of glue and you stay at the edges of your acetate, because it will sorry, I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh yeah, so you won't smudge it and see it coming through at the inside of your frame. Yeah, and so now I have to glue down the window and then we will move on to our flip down element. Okay, for our flip down element we need, first of all, the element itself, so the flip element that I already cut to size on 6 inches and 3 3/4 wide. And then I just took a scrap piece of paper that will be my pocket, and this one is, in case you want to have an exact measurement, is around 3.5 inches wide and round about 2 inches tall. But as I said, it doesn't matter, just take a scrap piece of paper. And I also cut to size a square from a book page where I will create my tiny envelope of. You can also go with 4 by 4 inches. I just did it because it turned out perfectly with my book page. So first thing we have to do is to score this piece of paper in half. So this is, let's go down a little bit. So this is 6 inches tall. So I will score it at 3 inches just to fold it in half. I think this will be perfect for my inside. So yeah, I will just have to fold it down. Oh, I can see I obviously cut it a little bit crooked, so I will just trim this and we'll be back then. So what I will do next is glue this pocket in here, and I will glue it. So this is my flap, so this is the part that will be glued down, this part, and this is my flap. So I will glue my pocket on the flap, basically a top loading pocket. So I will glue down the 2 sides and the bottom, and then I will glue down this complete piece. So basically what is the top now? This will be glued down completely, and this will be the flap. And at the outside of the flap will be the envelope, but this one we will do, or we'll create together. Yeah, as I always do, I will ink around, make my notch over here, and then I will be back. Okay, I am back again. I glued down this part of my flip down element, and here we have the flip. I redecided on the pocket. I originally wanted to glue it on the flap down here, but I now decided to have this pocket on this non-movable element, so I won't be limited so much if I want to stick in something from the top. So it could basically also stick out the folio if I want to. Okay, what we will create next. First I have to close my glue. We will create our envelope, and in case you have never done it like this, I want to show you real quick how to do that. So really important for an envelope created like that is that you have a square. So oh yeah, mine is 3 7/8 tall and wide. So you line up your ruler with your corners in a diagonal and mark it in the middle. Flip it around, line up your ruler with the other corners in a diagonal and mark it again. And so you get your cross point over here. What we will do is we take this corner and fold it in. And then we'll take this corner and fold it into our cross point, so to our point where I marked the middle basically. So that's where we add now. Now you take the third corner and fold it up. You can of course use scrapbooking paper or anything else for this project. You don't have to take book pages, but again I just wanted to stay in the look of the scrapbooking paper combined with book pages. What I do next is I fold over this little corner, because I like to have more like a straight line and not have to pick it out like that. You can have it like this, but I prefer it like that. And I just glue it down immediately. Basically, so the sides and the bottom of our envelope, and now I just take it over and fold down the flap, so the top, and I fold it down a little bit more than I folded up the bottom. So the flap overlaps the envelope itself a little bit, or a tiniest bit. So now we fold it open again. You can also take your bone folder to have nice edges. And I don't know if you can see it perfectly on the screen, so I will mark it a little bit. You are left with these tiny triangles. And I will cut them off because they just create a little bit of a bulk. So that's why we should cut the triangles. So you basically cut on the cross points where these folded edges meet. So now I did that. I can remove my marking. So that's why you always take a pencil, because you don't want to have these markings in here. So this one these you wouldn't see at the end, but of course in the middle you would see if you open the envelope. Okay, now we fold in our two sides and fold up the bottom. Oh, as you can see, I didn't cut precisely. Yeah, now it's better. Yeah, let me ink real quick. Oh, and I want to make a round this top flap a little bit quick. Okay, that's enough inking, I think. Okay, as I said, you fold in your sides and then fold up the bottom, and then we're gluing the bottom to to these sides. It is really important that you won't have glue at the inside of your bottom flap, otherwise it would shut the envelope down completely. So you're basically gluing at this part and at this part the bottom flap to the sides. And the top flap, of course, stays open. You can glue it down with a Velcro dot if you want to, but I just want to leave it open like that. Okay, so now we created our envelope, and everything we need to do is to put it on here. Sorry, not enough inking. So now you can decide if you want to have, or if you want to glue it down as a pocket itself. So you can have it open at the top. But what I want to do, I just want to glue it down completely and just want to use it as an envelope. And for that I will just put a strip of glue in the middle of this envelope. Could be a little bit thicker, and glue it down like that. In the middle and not crooked would be nice. Yeah. So, sorry, I cannot talk and concentrate. The advantage of gluing it down like this is that your envelope will have a little bit of room if you open it. So you see, you didn't glue the edges, and so you have more room for in your envelope to go in and out, because the edges will lift a little bit because it's only glued down in the middle. Take a strong glue and take a lot of glue to have to attach it, and then your envelope won't move and will stay over here, but you will have just this little bit of wriggle room. Yeah, so that's just the idea, to glue it down like that. So we are at the end of page number 5, and we're left with page number 6. So our door element. Oh no, I have to stick this in here. Okay, now we're at page number 6. Sorry, I was a little bit afraid that I didn't press recording again. So we are back on page number 6, and we will do our door elements now that I showed you in on the prototype. Before we glue down our door elements that I showed you before, it might make sense to glue down our closure element, so like I have our file folder element, on page number 1 that is hinged to page number 6. So we will do that first and glue that down first before we will attach our door elements. And I think it doesn't bother me that this piece of paper won't have the right direction. Yeah. So what I will do basically is the same that I did over here, like creating these hinges. But now I will just have it from the first page to page number 6 at the top and the bottom. And yeah, so we will basically do it like yeah, like we did these hinges, but just at the top and the bottom. I just realized now, oh no, it will be fine, it will be fine, everything will be fine. I just cut my book page to size, and then I will show you at the top or the bottom how I attach it. We'll be back in a second. Okay guys, I am back from tearing my pieces of book page to size and ink all around the edges, of course, and then I will take my glue stick again. Well, maybe not glued on my project itself. So again, I will attach this piece of book page on my flap, and then I will flip over this whole project to page number 6. So let's make it just completely clear. Your folio is closed. You put your file folder thingy over here on page number 1, and then fold it over to page number 6 and glue your hinge down. Again, don't have too much tension on it, otherwise your flap will always stay open like this. And the same we will do, of course, with flap number 2. Okay, this way we attached our closure for later. It might be a good idea to open and close it a few times to see if it is attached correctly. But for now, we will go on to page number 6, as I told you before. And for that, you will need your 2 strips, basically. And I just cut this picture in half for my door elements. One of them will be on this side, and the other one will be on this side. And my doors, of course, you will need 2 pieces, will be 8.5 inches tall and 1 3/4 inches wide. And you can decide on your own if you want to have them completely at the corners, at the edges, sorry, of your folio, or if you want to have them slightly in. So see, I stood a little bit away from the edges over here, and then your doors will be more shut or will be more like open. So yeah, it depends on you. I think I will be somewhere in the middle, I think. What you need to do next is to attach our door. You need, of course, some hinges. I just take again a strip of a book page. In that case, because this will be a hinge at the inside. Let me show you real quick over here. See, I attached it at the inside, so at page number 6, and didn't fold it over as I did with the other hinges. Because I thought, I don't know, doors always have their hinges at the inside, and I didn't want to have too many hinges at the outside. So yeah, I thought that might be a good idea. And then I fold my hinge in half before I attach it to my door. And then, yeah, an important part is, first of all, I will take my bone folder real quick to crease it down a little bit more. And then, of course, it is important that you attach your hinge that opens the right way, right? So your door wings should open to the outside, so your hinges have to open like that too. So just to keep that in mind. Let me think. I think I want to attach, first I want to attach the hinges to the door wings itself, and then I will attach these doors. And then I will attach these doors to the base, so the folio. Too much stuff. Oh my gosh. So, and again, I use I use glue stick because I have a little bit more of a wiggle room. See, you attach it like that, so line up with the edge, or line up the edge of your hinge with the edge of your scrapbooking paper. Then put glue on it again, and be generous with your glue, because you have movement, or you will have movement. Now I have to decide where my door should be. Yeah, I think I'm glad with this. Yeah, make it really quick from the inside, and then I will do it for the second door wing too. So I just turn it over so I have the same view. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, there's glue on my door. No, no, no. Okay. So page number 6. Oh no, I forgot the last element. Oh yeah, the belly band. I created a belly band 1 inch high or tall and 3.5 inches wide, or 3.5 inches wide. And oh, everywhere is glue on my project. I have to fix that in a moment. I will attach this belly band at the top. It doesn't really matter how high, but I just want to leave a little bit of room over here because I want to have a notebook in here, so I have a little bit of room to get it in and out and make sure that it wouldn't stick out later on. Ink it real quick, and then we attach it with our glue. And this is it for our base. Yeah, try to have it, yeah, in the middle. Okay, so yeah, you just attach it at the 2 sides. So yeah, that's it. We created our base. Just wanted to mention, if you want to follow completely. So see, this folio is closed now because these flaps are holding it together. When I rounded the corners, I mostly took size M on this punch, and only on this pocket I took size number 2. Just if it is important for you to follow completely my steps. So just take off all of this stuff, clean my desk a little bit, and then we will flip through quickly again. Okay guys, everything is nice and tidy, at least as you can see it, because everything around here is more like a catastrophe. Okay, what we did so far is the base for our folio. We did the closure that is made out of file folders. On our first page, we created, or you, maybe if you followed my tutorial, created 2 pockets like that, and a tuck spot where you will tuck in things from below, Then we open our file folder and have page number 2 with a flip out tuck spot and a flip out top loading pocket and a huge tuck spot underneath. So let's just flip it open, have it underneath. And we have on page number 3 a double belly band created out of scrapbooking paper and a book page. On page number 4, we have a tall, more narrow pocket and 2 tuck spots at the bottom. And on page number 5, we have our window pocket, our flip down element with an envelope on the front and a smaller pocket. And if we close our folio completely, we have this door element. What we will do next time is, as I said, decorate it. What means we will really attach the closure. I will put in some eyelets. I think I showed you in the material list that I will use some eyelets. Of course, you can also use some hole reinforcers. And we will create the door closure elements. And we will decorate it with some labels, tickets, just yet some bits and bobs. And we will create from all our scraps and maybe a few other papers, just elements to go in our folio, like, as I said, text, journal cards. And I also want to come up with some interesting ideas for that. I had one thing that I wanted to tell you, but I now forgot. Oh yeah, it could be the case that you have to fold your folio a few times and sometimes to use your bone folder a few times, just make the creases again, because it might be a little bit stiff at the beginning. So just keep that in mind. But if you just move it a little bit, it will fold nicely, as you can see. Okay, everyone, I think we're ready with part 1. I'm really happy to decorate this already really beautiful folio, but just to give it a little bit more personality besides this beautiful scrapbooking paper. And I'm looking forward to see you then. Just leave me a comment. Maybe you have some ideas what we can put in our folio, and maybe tell me if you liked to recreate it by yourself and do your folio by yourself, or maybe you have some other ideas you can do in this folio, like pocket-wise ideas or tuck spots. And just share it with me and others. So I really like this project. I think it's the first folio I created. So I'm happy to, or I would be happy to see you then, guys, when we move on with this folio. Until then, I wish you a crafty day. Bye!